Hey everyone, so I am making this video today. As you can tell by the title, I have shingles. I pretty much found out over the weekend that I had shingles, and it started on a Wednesday. My daughter came inside from playing with her neighborhood friends, and she was like, "Mom, the neighbor says she has eggs in her hair." And I was like, "Oh, wonderful. That probably means she has lice, which means you probably will get it too." So at that point, I was like treating her hair and paying attention to what she had going on. And that afternoon, I noticed that on my right side, that I had a couple of bumps. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. They didn't hurt, they didn't bother me. They just kind of looked like a rash in a way. So basically I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, well, maybe maybe it is lice, or maybe there's bed bugs or something. I didn't know what it was. So the next day, I had maybe 2 or 3 more bumps that were still kind of in the same area, and I'll probably insert a picture kind of what it looked like. But still no itching, nothing bleeding, no like crazy symptoms or anything. It was just bumps. So the next day I had a lot more bumps. So this was Friday. I had probably 6 or 7 bumps, and it was starting to get very itchy. And I was going, okay, this is kind of strange. I don't know what this is. It's spreading. It wasn't inflamed, but it was itchy. So I started using cortisone cream on it. Not thinking anything of it. I just kept on using the cortisone cream. I wasn't really covering it necessarily, but I was trying not to have like anything touching it. So I did have, we did have our co-op school that day, which I ended up not being able to do it because that was the day that I actually figured out that my daughter did have active lice. So on top of me having these bumps, I was having to treat our daughter for her lice outbreak. So we were coating her hair in all kinds of Young Living oils and in coconut oil. I took like half of the day. It was ridiculous. Half of the day to try and clean her hair and get it like all sanitized and everything. She sat with oil. She had coconut oil, tea tree oil, thieves, and I can't remember one more, maybe lavender or something, that I ended up putting in her hair, and she sat there for an hour with it on. Anyway, so half of the day was spent taking care of her and her lice, and we were just trying to get everything taken care of because of the itching. So I ended up having to cancel our co-op class, which I teach at, because I was a little bit concerned about my rash, because at the time I didn't know what it was. So that night, my rash really started to become itchy, and I was really starting to like mess with it, and I was trying not to itch it because obviously I knew it was going to make it worse. So pretty much I went to bed, and the next day my husband had to get up super early in the morning, and he was gone all day long at a shoot or something that the Marine Corps does. So he literally was gone all day and into the night and the next day. So pretty much I had the kids. It was just me and the 3 kids, and I was really starting to get itchy. I looked at my arm, and it was red and inflamed, and it was not feeling good. And I didn't start having pain until that afternoon. So Saturday afternoon. So this was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 days later, after I noticed the bumps, is when I started realizing that it was painful. And it wasn't a constant pain. It was more of like a shocking pain. So basically my nerves were like, springing back at me saying, hey, it's, we're hurting or whatever. So I pretty much just stood the pain and didn't think anything of it. Although on Friday, my neighbor Lisa did come over, and she was like, oh, that looks like shingles. I bet you have shingles. And I was like, no, why would I have shingles? There's no reason I would have shingles. I'm like, it's probably bed bugs. It might be the lice. I don't know what's going on. So come Saturday afternoon, when I started feeling the pain, I was like, crud, this probably is shingles. And I'm 37, almost 38 years old with 3 kids. I don't have a whole lot of like explanation as to why I actually came down with shingles, but that was the reason that I wasn't like, hey, yeah, I've got shingles. Like that must be what it is. So Saturday afternoon, everything, like I said, was okay, but I was getting more and more of the pain. And so I just sort of let it go. I was just taking some Motrin. The Motrin was taking care of it. So I was really excited about that. And then Sunday came, Sunday morning, and we had already decided that we were going to go to church just because Savannah still had treatment for lice, and I still wasn't quite sure what I had going on. So we didn't go to church that day, and I ended up just like laying on the couch. I was exhausted. I was having a lot more pain. I couldn't sleep on my right side, which is where I normally sleep. I had to sleep on my left. And then I also noticed that I was getting a rash on my breast as well, on my right side. And it's generally supposed to be on one side or the other. So both of my rashes are on my right side. So like I said, I noticed that I had the rash on my breast. It started up here and it just worked its way down. So then Sunday morning I woke up and it was starting to bubble. It wasn't blistering yet, but it was bubbling. So I started really like paying attention to what was happening. It was definitely not feeling good. It was doing the shooting pain, and I was still taking the Motrin, so that was helping with the pain. But I was just reading all of these things, you know, online about how the nerve is firing, and it's something about like when your immune system becomes weakened. The virus from the chicken pox, which never goes away apparently, it just lays dormant in your spine. Basically all it needs is a weakening of the immune system to reactivate. And because I've been going through stress in my life, just natural stress, nothing that's too crazy, but I do have a couple of things that are coming up that are somewhat life-changing, but I didn't think anything of it. So Sunday afternoon, I started looking into urgent cares, and then I realized that the ER on base was pretty much wide open. So we went straight down to the ER with my 3 kids in tow. We brought iPads and iPhones and school books and all kinds of things to keep them busy. And I got in really quickly, fortunately, and the doctor looked at me and he was like, do you have fever? Do you have all these different symptoms? I said, nope, no fever. The only thing I literally have are these 2 rashes that are blistering and bubbling up, and they're swollen, and they don't feel good. You know, my pain level at that point was like a 4, so it wasn't that big of a deal compared to what most people would get, I would say. So he was like, okay, well, I believe that you have the shingles, so I'm just going to give you an antiviral medication. So he gave me Valtrex. So I am currently taking Valtrex 3 times a day for 7 days, and I am on, this is my 2nd full day of taking the antivirals, and the shingles are already starting to dry up, which I am so thankful for. I do still kind of have like the picking feeling, or the like the nerve feeling every now and then, but it's a really light discomfort. Fortunately, it's not like crazy bad. So I haven't had to take any kind of like pain medicine other than Motrin, and it's been a pretty smooth journey. I have still been tired. My body is still trying to fight off this virus that I'm going through, and I'm just sort of looking for ways to improve my health so that hopefully this won't happen again. Like I said, I'm only 37, almost 38, but it's totally the stress factor that has thrown me into this. I will show you guys what my side looks like, and then like I said, I do have some on my breast, but I'm not going to show that obviously. I do have some calamine lotion on it right now because it was itchy this morning, and so it looks kind of pink, but before it was just swollen. But you can tell that I've had, that it's kind of like smoothed over because the blisters are broken. I did put a gauze on it for the last 2 nights because it is contagious to infants and to pregnant women, mostly for their unborn babies, but also for infants because they haven't had the chickenpox vaccine. In fact, I have to be very careful around my children because if the blisters break and for some reason it gets in contact with their skin, they can also contract the virus. The chickenpox vaccine is not 100%, so that was why the doctor told me stay away from the kids when you have the outbreaks, when you have the fluid that comes out of the blisters. You have to be very careful. So I've just been keeping them covered the last 2 days. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Let me see if I can get a good picture of what this looks like. And this is the rash, and it doesn't really even look like anything. You can just see how it's a real small area, just right in here. It doesn't run along anything, it's just kind of a cluster. But let me see if I can get even closer. You can just kind of see, like I said, I've got the calamine lotion on it. So that's with it looking pretty good. Like I said, it started on Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. So it's been a full week since I've actually noticed that it was there. And then, like I said, I have it on my breast from about here, and then it goes all the way down. So both areas are looking much better. They're not perfect. They are still slightly painful if I'm laying on that side, or if my clothing happens to rub against it. It does kind of send like shocks to my body that it's like, hey, I'm still here, don't do that. But for the most part, I haven't had a whole lot of pain compared to what could be. So I'm super thankful that I got it treated quickly and that the Motrin is taking care of it. I did take a Tylenol 3 the other night because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to sleep. Like the night before, I was not able to sleep. So not last night, but the night before, I did end up taking a Tylenol 3, and then it just wired me. So it did the opposite effect, go figure. But anyways, so I just wanted to share with you guys that anybody randomly can get shingles. It has nothing to do with your health, or, well, has nothing to do with your hygiene. That's what I meant to say. It does have something to do with your health. But apparently you can also deter the onset of shingles by taking zinc and taking care of your body, taking care of your health, making sure that you're staying healthy and that you're not stressing out, because this can happen to just about anybody. I mean, this was just so random. But anyways, I have more videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any suggestions, you can leave them in the comments. I just wanted to put this video out just because it was a very strange situation for me, and now that I know what's going on and how to handle it, I can kind of spread awareness about it, I guess. But fortunately, mine is already going away. I think the duration is typically, it can be anywhere from like 2 to 6 weeks, or even possibly even longer. Some people have like huge outbreaks, and fortunately mine is just really small. It is bothering me right now because I have this shirt that's rubbing up against it. But mine will probably be gone by like next weekend, I'm assuming. Not this coming up weekend, but the following weekend. But fortunately, I was able to get control of it sooner rather than later. And if you do notice that you are having this rash and then it's causing pain, definitely get into your doctor as soon as possible to get the antiviral medication, because it helps big time. Since I've been taking it for the last 2.5 days, my rash has drastically turned like 180. So I'm super thankful for that. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!